So one of the most requested topics that I've gotten for the past month has been about Broly from Dragon Ball Super Broly and the possibility of him attaining God Ki. Now, this video is going to contain spoilers for the Dragon Ball Super Broly film. Not too many of them, but there will be a few pertaining to Broly's power in the movie. So if you don't want to be spoiled, you've been warned. So because only a handful of people as of this recording have seen the Broly movie, that's why I've got MJ here, who was with me in LA. He saw the film. What's up?
What's up, man? Thank you for having me back on the channel.
And you're a power scaler, so we can do it like that, yeah. So we had the Gogeta video last week. Let's talk about the other side, which is Broly. Now, in the movie, in Dragon Ball Super Broly, Broly starts out pretty much getting manhandled by base Vegeta, and as the fight progresses against Goku and whatnot, he gets stronger and stronger and stronger, learns how to become a Super Saiyan with Paragus dying, and then eventually when he goes to full power mode, he's completely humongously ripped. He's gigantic. He's like, I don't know, like 12 feet tall or something like that. He's very tall, huge, and he's sitting there banging. He's banging with freaking Blue Gogeta. Now, obviously, in order to attain Super Saiyan Blue, you have to have knowledge and mastery of God Ki, which Goku and Vegeta certainly had in the film. Not to mention that Broly fights Vegeta and Goku, and they have God Ki in their red and blue forms. Now, Broly is never stated once to have God Ki. Whatever kind of green power Broly has, whatever kind of legendary energy or whatever you want to call he has, is on par with God Ki, but it's not God Ki. So, what in the hell would happen if Broly trained with Whis or with Goku and learned how to use God Ki and possibly stacked Super Saiyan God or even Blue on top of his already immensely powerful base form, Oozaru, whatever you want to call it form, or full power?
I think God Ki is something that people have kind of sort of been like, you know what, okay, this is really nothing, because we've seen characters kind of go up against God Ki and they don't wield it either, and they can just fight alongside these gods. But I think there is still something that should be said about God Ki. It's still special in the sense that only like Goku, Vegeta, Toppo, and a very handful of people can actually use it, because if I remember correctly, it's never even stated that Jiren has it. More so that Jiren's ki is like a heat-based ki, and that it's always just overwhelming compared to what Goku and Vegeta have. So God Ki is special in that sense, and if Broly were to get it, that would be crazy, because God Ki, while yeah, you could argue it gets shat on a lot, I mean, dog, adding God Ki to Broly was already a beast in this movie. I can't even imagine what that would do, you know what I mean? I can't even imagine him stacking the red or blue form on top of his humanoid Oozaru form or whatever you want to call that. That would be insane, because remember, that form in itself was already fighting Super Saiyan God Vegeta post-Tournament of Power, you know?
Yeah, Gogeta, who was, I mean, they're fighting, and they cracked the dimensional fabric and wound up fighting in a pocket universe or something. This is something we've never seen in Dragon Ball before. We were teased of it before, but we see it here. No, you're right. And the thing that's funny about God Ki is I do agree with you in that God Ki has been certainly de-emphasized. Early on in Dragon Ball Super, especially Battle of Gods, the arc, and the movie, God Ki was made up to be a big deal. Same thing with Whis' training. Learning how to suppress your energy, tapping into God energy, divine energy, Hakai energy, whatever. Then as the series progressed, we saw characters like Golden Frieza, you know, get so powerful they can compete with Super Saiyan Blue Goku and even beyond that later on. And then we see guys like Goku Black who kind of, you know, it's Zamasu, so he's familiar with God Ki. We see Rose. But then we have guys like Jiren who doesn't need God Ki, and then Toppo who uses Hakai to become God of Destruction Toppo. But you're right. I feel like in terms of power, God Ki has been de-emphasized. But, you know, with Broly, the dude was getting stronger and stronger and stronger during the fight. I mean, this has to be, and I'm going to ask you what you think about this. This has to be the biggest leap in power we've ever seen. I mean, I think Tagoma in the Resurrection F arc, not the movie, and Frieza going from Namek Saga, early Android Saga, maybe even weaker than that power, to jumping over Majin Buu, jumping over everyone to become the threat he was in Resurrection F within, 4 months? That's crazy. Here we have Broly, who within one fight, he's getting slapped by Vegeta in base. And obviously he may not have been taking the fight seriously, but either way, he loses again, spoiler, he actually loses the fight to Super Saiyan God Vegeta. Vegeta beats him in God form. He fires those weird bubble attacks at him in the movie. But yet, this dude gets so angry and powerful that when he gets angry, he's a monster. But here's the question, though. Okay, 2 questions. Number 1, is this the biggest power leap ever? And number 2, is Broly even capable of using God Ki? Because remember, Broly's power is purely based on his rage. And God Ki is not rage. Same thing with Ultra Instinct. They don't really go with that kind of mentality. So, is it one of those things where Broly's he's going to have to change his entire mentality to use God Ki? And even then, is it going to be able to stack on top of his rage if he can't rage out?
It's tough to say with the power leap. I would have to assume probably, but don't quote me on that. And people are probably going to compare Broly to like Caulifla and Kel. But the thing with Caulifla and Kel is that in the Tournament of Power, their bases were already somewhat relative to Cabba, because once Caulifla learned how to go Super Saiyan, which she did a video on how she did that, she's able to surpass Cabba. So that means her base was already relative to Cabba's. Whereas in Broly, we see right off the bat that Broly's base is nowhere near Vegeta's. And obviously this is right off the bat. This is post-Tournament of Power. Obviously he increases to that level, but that's something to make note of when you compare those two characters. And plus, Broly has different forms from Caulifla and Kel as well. These are not the same forms. Full power is not Berserk. Kel or Caulifla do not wield the humanoid Zoro form. All of that stuff is different between them. So take that with what you will. But yes, he does get incredibly strong, incredibly fast. And I would say what? I'm not even sure it was an hour, was it? I mean,
no, it was like 20 minutes or something like that,
20 minutes, right? So he
something like that.
Yeah. So,
yeah, but remember, he's also fighting Frieza for like an hour too. When they were practicing Gogeta and they failed. But the thing is, I want to ask you about something you just said. So Kale has this Berserk form, which is, Vegeta says when he sees it in the Tournament of Power, is this legendary power of a Saiyan. And then in the manga, they talk about how it's a demonic Saiyan or something like that. And then we have Broly, who has a very, very similar type of power. I mean, obviously Kale was created to be a clone or an homage to old Broly, but this new Broly still has that. So I don't know if I agree with you fully about them they're not the same power, but there are parallels with those forms, very much so.
I mean, right off the bat, they look similar. They are. They're
the same idea.
The same idea, yeah. So the thing that I would have to say about that, though, is perhaps you could argue, like, in-universe, obviously we know the out-of-universe reasonings, but in-universe, maybe they're, like, the doubles of each other. I really hate to bring that up. I remember back in
like Frieza and Frost.
Yeah, like how people would try to say Cabba was, like, that version of Vegeta or Universe 6's.
Or maybe I hate to say it, but it could be true that Broly is the legendary Super Saiyan. Even though they haven't said it yet, maybe he is the true legendary Super Saiyan, and maybe it is like a genetic trait that gets passed down, and that's why they're so rare. Like maybe Goku and Vegeta's forms are not true Super Saiyan. Maybe Broly is the true original one that Vegeta spoke of, or at least not the original one, but he has the genes of the original one. It could be somebody in Paragus' bloodline. I mean, there's a lot of ways they can take the story, but I just feel like if Universe 7 has a legendary Super Saiyan, then Universe 6 should have the same thing, right? You should have one. Maybe it is a trait that they've carried for years and years. See, Toriyama keeps changing Saiyan lore every year. Every year we have a new change. People have been asking me, Geekdom, why don't you do a History of the Saiyans video? I've been planning that video for 3 years, but every time I try to make it, Toriyama changes something. He either introduces Kale and Caulifla, Cabba, Broly, Sadala, S-Cells. It's something new every year.
Now, so...
Oh my God, I can't do it. And it's going to be too much. I'll do it eventually. So, I forgot the point I was going to make. Okay, yeah, Broly with God Ki. So, let's refocus the video. So, I mean, there's a possibility it could happen. It's just that I feel like the way this is going to go is it's going to branch out into 2 different methods you could take. You can go down the road of Berserk and power and out of control, which is what Broly's good at, or you can go down the other path, which is peace and I guess being a Super Saiyan? I don't know. I have no idea.
I would like to see them handle him like the Hulk. I know that seems kind of to say, but I think that would be kind of cool. I feel like if they stay true to the whole Goku wanting to come back and fight him and spar with him and teach him a few things, if Goku and Ruiz do teach him how to utilize God Ki or at least utilize just different forms of training, that would be cool. I think it would be cool to see him in his humanoid Uzaru form, learn how to control that, and then the full power form that we see later on in the film, that'd be more like of a situation where you don't want to see him angry, very similar to the Hulk.
think about how maybe maybe he can learn Super Saiyan God and Blue, and then he uses them to fight like sparring or to fight like non-threats. But then when you piss him off, he goes into Super Saiyan Green, because I'm just going to call it. That's not a real form. I'm just being silly here, right? Dude, Broly could end up being the perfect fighter. I'm not saying he will. I never thought I would say that ever in the past few years. But if this series continues and Broly does become a member of the main staff, he could become dude, this guy was going toe-to-toe with Gogeta. Like, I don't know how people respect that man. He went toe-to-toe with Gogeta Blue.
Within the first day. That was within the same day that they picked him up, right, from Vampa?
The same day. No, not the same day they picked him up. The same day he landed on Earth.
Same day he landed on Earth,
Think about it. Like, every Gogeta has mopped the floor with everyone. Omega and, Janemba. Goku and Vegeta fusions don't tend to really lose. Obviously, the Zamasu thing was an exception. And Gogeta did not lose, and we're going to discuss that in more detail when the movie comes out. We're going to go into more. Me and Kendan will have a video plan on that. But, dude, Broly withstood the freaking Soul Punisher. Come on. Can
you imagine him with Whis training in God Ki? Oh,
I can. And then I'm gonna say that for a different video. Ultra Instinct Broly.
Oh,
I'm gonna do a different. We're gonna get back together, bro, and do that video, bro. The strongest character in the history of mankind. He would mop the floor with Jiren. If he got this strong in 25 minutes or whatever, God knows what'll happen if he trains with God Ki, no pun intended. Thanks, MJ, for being here. Check out MJX TV. Do you have any final thoughts?
No, man, I'm glad to be on the channel once again.
All right, we'll talk soon.